YouTube, all good to go. Welcome, guys. Justin R. Harris here, back with business investments. You guys know I like to keep you abreast of everything that has to do real estate related. This one's primarily just covering the entire global spectrum of real estate. As I get going with this, I want to make sure that my switching is all set up and that we are good going back and forth. It's good. It's where I need it to be. All right, so here's what the deal is. You guys see the topic here. The housing market collapse. It's not looking pretty. Okay, so what I really wanted to get into was breaking down exactly the direction that we're headed for the average American. I'm going to give you guys some stats on that, right, as far as what the average American is doing income-wise, which is ridiculous right now when you compare that to what's happening with home purchases and sales, right? And then I just want to touch briefly on what's happening with the rental market as well, so you guys can pay attention to that and just have a better perspective without all the fluff explained about that, because what do you need with that, right? You need the data. You want it simplified, right? We don't need all the information that sometimes too much information is useless information, right? So I don't want to give you that, right? I just want to dig right into it, tell you what you need to be thinking about, what you need to focus on, so you can just keep moving on with your day and make a decision for you and your investments, or you and your family, or whatever it is you have going on, right, as far as your money is concerned. It's no secret as to what's happening. So real quick, before I even dig into that, you guys know what I need you to do. I need you to like, subscribe, follow, get all that stuff done as far as YouTube is concerned, right? Because on Facebook, all you do is maybe follow. And then on LinkedIn, we're on that platform as well live. So you guys know what to do there. It's based on impressions and I think thumbs up and some great stuff like that, right? So, okay, so without further delay, I want to get into it and just, not waste any time. I do have my trusty notepad here because I don't want to miss a beat when it comes to that. First thing, I talk about the interest rates here as far as my notes are concerned, and that they're up. And home buyers can expect to pay, get this, $1,000 more over their expected budget as far as their home is concerned. So in a sense, right, if you know that, let's say your projected mortgage was going to be approximately $2,500 a month, right? If you're going to be paying $2,500 a month and then you watch as the rates went up, guaranteed you're going to be somewhere around the range of about $3,500, $3,600 a month. These are all estimates, of course, but I need you to understand that jump and what that meant a year ago to date now, right? So when we were at that 3 and change, now we've doubled that, right? Because we're at 7, right? So you can just pretty much add another $1,000 on there for that next jump in 1%. Now, here's the froggy part of information here. So what you got to pay attention to is the fact that, yes, the federal funds rate went up, right? Okay, so typically what happens is that means the cost of business for banks goes up. But wait, what happened? Last week, the banks came down 0.4% in their rates. According to Redfin, they state that the drop went from 7% to 6.6% for borrowing, right? Let's think about that for a second. So banks are trying to do their best to keep doing business, but they can't do that for long. If the rates keep going up, they can't keep cutting into their margins, because then they're going to have to do some significant layoffs. If you start seeing big entities like Wells Fargo and Bank of America and all these others cutting back on employees, we already know. Now, I can tell you that already happened earlier this year. They started cutting back on mortgagers, right? So expect that to happen again, because they can only cut their margins by so much to do business, to try to bring in more business. And these numbers aren't moving very quickly, okay? If the average home sales, and this is according to what I went to National Association of Realtors, NAR, when I went to their Realtors news updates there, you guys are more than welcome to go there and follow up on the information that I give you. That's why I quote these guys, Redfin and National Association of Realtors, because they're very factual and they stay on top of their data. Very robust data information. If you guys ever need to like scurry away from the news and actually pull your own data, I highly recommend that you do that. Okay, so according to their information, right, the average home sales is approximately $379,000 for a home. But get this, the average income you need to afford the average home needs to be approximately $107,000 a year. So if you are a single individual and you don't make over 100 grand a year and change, you're not getting your average home, right? So you need to start digressing in your thoughts as to what it is that you think you're going to buy, because it's not going to happen. You're not going to get that average single family home at 3 let's just say 380, right? It's just not going to happen. So start looking at the townhomes, maybe invest with someone else and get a duplex that's going to be in the right price range for you, because those numbers aren't very shallow either, right? But at least you're in some sort of investment property that will grow in equity, okay? And then it's income producing at the same time. Get together. Stop trying to divide, right, yourselves to go and gain an income when you can join forces with you and your family, right, and grow your income that way. Just be smart about it. Everyone's always trying to get out of the house and go and be their own savior out there. That's not the way you do it, right? Join forces, build yourself up, get to where you want to be, and then branch off. Let's be smart about our money for a second here, right? Okay, so aside from that, right, if there aren't as many people going out to buy, I can tell you that the sellers are also holding back, right? So sellers are like, you know what, if I can't get what I want, then I'm gonna wait. They're not cutting back in prices, they're just holding, right? So they're in a holding pattern and they're not dropping in their prices by much, except for those who have to. Now, there's always going to be a percentage of those that have to. I don't have that data right now. I'm pretty sure I could find it if I needed to, but that's not what I'm delivering you today. So as a result of that, landlords know the game, and the cost of doing business for them is up higher as well. So we're talking about property taxes, insurance, and so forth. Those businesses are raising the cost of doing business. Property management, right? They need to go up because the cost of doing business for them goes up, right? Fuel's going up. And we all know if fuel goes up, cost of goods 100% go up. So as a result of these things, rent goes up, right? So if we know these things, be smart. I can tell you that one thing that is very predictable when it comes to rents is, well, if the rents go up and that person who wanted to buy a home now can't buy a home because they need to hold off, guarantee they're going to renew another year. Landlord knows this, right? So landlords will be like, hey, listen, rent's going up another 12%. I'm going to need that money, right? So the renter is like, I don't have it. Well, they're going to put that property up for rent. I need you out, buddy, right? So these kind of things we can't stall on. It just doesn't work out, okay? So that's the kind of stuff we need to look into as we are planning ahead for the next year. Everyone is looking at what's happening moving forward. I suggest that you guys pay attention to that. Watch as the next rate increase conversation is going to come up next month, and we'll kind of understand a little better. Obviously, inflation is down in the 7s, right? But at what rate? Does that mean for the cost of doing business for the rest of us? How much are we going to be able to dial back? Where is that going to put us at the end of the first quarter going into 2023? And then going into the second quarter is really how you're going to be able to understand what's going to happen coming into third quarter and this time next year. So look at today to be able to know what's getting ready to happen and plan accordingly is how you can look at your finances. Probably the best way I can explain that. Thank you guys for checking in. I'll see you next time.